Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dan Talks United. So, welcome back to the channel. It's just a quick Manchester United match recap and a roundup of the top six, or the traditional top six teams, and how they fared across the weekend, and also what that means for us after 15 games in. So, when I talk about traditional top six, I think I've mentioned this anyway in the previous videos. So, you've got Arsenal that are currently at the top of the league, you've got Man City, you've got Chelsea, you've got ourselves, you've got Liverpool, you've got Tottenham. I think I've covered everything there. I also will cover Newcastle as well, because obviously they're up there and what have you. Okay, so let's get into it. So, as you know, Manchester United played against Wolves Monday Night Football, another Monday Night Football game, and that ended 4-1. Now, obviously, I've put in my video that it was papering over the cracks, which I still believe is the case. Yes, we won 4-1. I do believe that the sort of result did flatter us a little bit, because I don't feel that our performance reflected the result per se. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll come on to that anyway, but it was a game of two halves, which you can get in football anyway. So, just a quick run through of the goals. So, we had Bruno that got the first goal after 25 minutes, and as I was saying in the live video reaction, and what you'll have seen for yourself, it was quite a comedy of errors from Wolves. Didn't think we were going to score from that, to be honest, because as the ball got played through to Cunha, I thought Cunha messed up his pass to Bruno, which led Bruno to slip, but good for Bruno. He did well, he battled, he sort of got up quickly, he got hold of the ball, he swiveled, he turned, and sort of did a bit of a scuff shot that you could say the keeper should have saved it, really. So, moving on from then, like I say, that first half wasn't great, and it's a half to forget, really. Towards the end of that half, Wolves did even things up, and they got their equaliser. As I said in the previous video, really good cross. Couple of good crosses, actually, from Wolves in that passage of play. And then a neat finish from one of their forward players. Then moving on to sort of the second half, and I think that we did really up the tempo in the second half, and we looked better. And obviously, I've done a quick sort of review of the highlights just to refresh myself and see it in a different guise, because obviously at the time a bit tense, worried about what the score's going to be, all that Wolves might get back into the games. It's a little bit, and that's why I like doing these. I know it's not Monday today, but doing these what I call Monday reflections, where you just get that chance just to reflect, re-watch the game or watch the highlights, listen to what other people are saying as well, calm down a little bit, and then you can sort of look at it in a different pair of eyes, in a sense. So it's always good to do that, because obviously, like any fan, you do operate off emotion. So again, second half started off well. Started off where we just thought, right, we want to take it to Wolves and actually win this game. And I think that's what we set out to do. And on 51 minutes, so quite soon after half time, good passage of play. And as I was saying yesterday in the other video, there was that sort of FC26, FC25, what you want to call it, FIFA sort of movement, sort of passage of play where it's pretty much walking the ball into the back of the net, and you like to see that. And okay, I've talked about whether there is much patterns, but that was an element of patterns of play. Again, can always sort of judge when you're playing against Wolves, who I must add and must remind everybody, they are looking at being probably the worst team in the Premier League's history in regards to their form and the way they're playing. Now, then going on to goal from Mount. So Mount got a goal on the 62 minutes, and again, some nice bit of play, really lovely lofted ball over the top where Mount was sort of checking his run. You could actually see, so watching this back in the highlights, and could see how he bent his run. and made sure that he kept on side. And obviously Bruno got the eye from Mount to see that he was making a run. And you can say that it's a combination of Mount's good play, Mount's good run, but also poor defending from Wolves as well. Then going on to the fourth goal, because there was a lot of scrappiness before that in terms of how many times we could have scored. But going on to the fourth goal, I felt, I'm not saying that both aren't penalties, but I felt the one in the first half where it hit the arm, as I was saying in the previous video, I felt that was more of a penalty. Either way, I think the referee and the refereeing team have sort of evened things up. So was it Ahmad that took a shot or a cross and it's hit the arm of the Wolves defender, and you can see that it's made a movement towards the ball. So then, as Bruno does, dispatches the penalty. No sort of questions really. Although the keeper did dive the right way, I don't think there was any danger of Bruno not scoring that. So overall for that match, I think we looked up for it, we were determined for the win, and we got the win. And I think that's all you can ask for in regards to that, especially when Wolves drew level at half-time. So obviously the players could have come out with their heads down, but they didn't. They came out fighting, and they wanted to win that game. So as always, I'd like you to put your comments below. Just give me your thoughts on the game and how you felt that the game went. Just to finish off as well, got to mention that, yes, I did say Bruno was the man of the match, which I'm going to stand by, and that's mainly off his, like I say, his assist and a couple of goals. But again, standout player, Mount, especially after watching the highlights again, just seeing his work rate, seeing his movement, looking, dare I say it, sort of Chelsea-esque in terms of how we were playing to a certain degree. So again, good passing, good pressing, crisp passing. Some of the passing that I saw him doing, it was just, yeah. And you just want to see more of that. Again, very difficult because it's about the opposition, but you can only beat what's in front of you. So there's two ways of looking at it, really. But yeah, I think overall played really well and standout player for me. So moving on to the results then, around the grounds, top six, that sort of thing. So I'm going to just look at the foot mob and have a look at the scores there. So as we can see, right at the top there, we've got Aston Villa and Arsenal. So a bit of a rare loss for Arsenal there. Probably a shocking loss to a certain degree. However, we know that Arsenal are missing two key players at centre-back, Saliba and Gabriel. And obviously, when they'd lost Saliba in the past, that has impacted them massively. Now, I don't want to go down the realms of them bottling it, especially at this stage. I still think it's early. 15 games in, they've had a really good start. They're still at the top of the league. Problem is they've got City breathing down their necks. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at the scorers. So we had Matty Cash, who scored first on 36 minutes. And then Trossard brought it level. And then Buendia does the sucker punch. It's one of those where you love your team to score that last minute goal, that last goal at the death sort of thing, where everybody's just jumping around in the stadium and can't believe it. But you also hate to be in Arsenal's position when that happens against you. And I think we've had both ways over the years. But we used to have it a lot under Fergie, where obviously used to say Fergie time. So then we've got Bournemouth and Chelsea, so that ended 0-0, so don't need to go into that because there's no scorers. I'll skip over Everton, although you can see that Everton are starting to pick up a bit of form there. Then we've got City, noisy neighbours, against Sunderland. Now, I must admit, I'm not saying that I didn't think City would win, but Sunderland have been pretty good. Having said that, I know that Sunderland's home form's been really good. and they've not been as good on the road. So in terms of goal scorers then, so you've got Diaz, defender for City on 31 minutes. Then you've got Vardial, 35 minutes, another defender. And then Foden, who seems to have hit a bit of form now. Obviously gunning for that England spot. Moving on then, so I will touch on Newcastle. They beat Burnley 2-1. Goal scorers then, so we've got Bruno Guimaraes, and he scored on 31 minutes. And then you've got Gordon, who's got a pen. I did see that pen actually. It's a nice slotted finish. Moving on to Spurs then. Spursy, not so Spursy. Over the weekend, they've got a rare win at home. They've not been really playing that well at home, although they drew against us. We should really have beat them. So let's have a look who scored for them. So Richard Allison, as I call him, scored on the 25th minute. Don't know if he cried, didn't see the game. And Xavi Simons, is it Xavi Simons? 43 minutes. And I'm sure that's his first goal for Spurs. So let's see if he hits a bit of form there. I'm not sure if he got an assist in that game as well. And what we got left here then, Leeds United versus the Scousers. So let's step into this then. So it looks like, yeah, I did see a couple of goals from Ekitike actually. So Ekitike on 48 and 50 minutes. Soboslai there as well on the 80th minute. So Ekitike, yeah, looks like he was getting back to his scoring form. I did feel like Isak, bringing Isak in, debatable whether they should have signed him or not, because it's easy to say when they're not playing well, but it looked like Isak had sort of derailed him a little bit. But I'm not going to say it's nice to see him scoring, because it definitely isn't, because I don't like Liverpool, but he's back on the score sheet. And Salah back on the bench, and a crazy interview. Calvert-Lewin gets his penalty, and then Stack, and then Tanaka right at the end. Another one of those killer goals right at the end. It would have, I'm quite sure Liverpool fans would have thought they'd won that game after Soboslai scored on the 80th. So that sort of concludes the sort of roundup there of the scores. As you can see there as well, just touching on Brighton, they've got a draw there with West Ham, and then Crystal Palace get the 2-1. So we're just behind Crystal Palace. And then ourselves there with the 4-1 victory. So those scores, and what do they mean? So yeah, looking at the league then, I know that we've now dropped into 6th position. And like I say, that's just behind Palace, who have done reasonably well this season. So we're just 1 point off top 4. So again, it's how you all look at it. I mean, obviously, I've moaned and complained myself that I don't feel that we've played particularly well at times, and also taken our opportunities to move up the table. But again, because of how tight things are in this league, you've got us in 6th place again, or up there again, and breathing down the necks of that sort of top 4, top 5, and only 1 point off top 4 really. So it's things sort of were good for us for the weekend, if you want to call it that, because Liverpool dropped points within the game, because it looked like we were going to get 3 points, and then they've ended up with 1. And didn't see the Chelsea game, but they've obviously drawn in their game. So that's kind of allowed us to sort of claw back some points there, and to sort of climb the table. So upcoming fixtures for us then. Obviously, there's always big games for us anyway whenever we play, and also because of how we're playing. But I think where we're at, 6th place, we need to start gaining some ground now and putting some pressure on, and sort of trying, if possible, to cement a higher up the league position anyway. So we've got Bournemouth next, and that's another Monday night game, and that's at home. And then following that, we've got Aston Villa. And then after that, we've got Newcastle. Now, like I say, it would have been better to play Newcastle a little bit earlier in the season, but they're starting to pick up a bit of form now, so that's going to be an interesting game. So, like I say, overall, in regards to the weekend's fixtures, it's definitely looked favourable for us, which is sometimes quite rare to say. And I suppose you can say we have, for once, it feels, taken advantage of where certain teams in and around us have dropped points. So I'll just have a quick look actually in terms of the fixtures. So, like I say, we've got Chelsea that we're sort of wanting to be close to as well, who have got Everton next. So that could be an interesting game, that really, because Everton have picked up a bit of form. Liverpool have got Brighton. Again, you just don't know what's going to happen there. I know Liverpool are at home, but you just don't know what's going to happen. Brighton are a good side. Again, probably had a bit of a mixed season so far, but you just never know with Brighton. And then Arsenal, well, Arsenal have got Wolves. I mean, if we can beat Wolves 4-1, then who knows what Arsenal are going to do to them. Then City, yeah, what tough game. They've got Palace and Palace at home. I know, again, we've beat Palace at 2-1, but you just don't know. Palace seem to have City's number to a certain extent, so could be interesting. And then Forest versus Spurs. So again, what's Spurs going to be like on the road? Could they beat Forest? Interesting. And then Sunderland. Oh, this is a big one. Didn't realise this one had come up. This is Sunderland versus Newcastle. So the sort of that, is it Tyne and Weir derby? It's a derby anyway. Sunderland versus Newcastle at Sunderland. So Sunderland have got a good record at home so far this season. So that's going to be really interesting. Obviously, shouldn't discount Villa because they're up there and they've got West Ham. West Ham are at home. Brentford, Leeds, that could be a cracker because Brentford have done pretty well at home and Leeds are sort of going to be buoyant and confident after that draw against Liverpool. So that could be really interesting. And also we've got our game against Bournemouth. So, looking interesting that. And I think, like I say, we just need to do our job because there's some interesting games there where there could be some more points dropped. So we definitely need to try and do our job against Bournemouth, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. So like I say, that wraps up things. That wraps up this sort of top 6 roundup. Please let me know in the comments what you think, how you feel, where you think we are in regards to how that weekend went, plus Monday night. Are you happy with where we are? Do you think we're progressing well? Are you, as I said before, are you hammering in, hammering out, hammering down? Where you at? Please tell me. Please tell me in the comments. So, if you're happy with United's performance or not happy with the performance, please tell me why for both reasons. And how do you feel that the result, and where do you think we're in the right position that we should be in terms of the progress in regards to what Amorim's been saying in terms of that feeling that pain? But is that storm over? Are we starting to see some green shoots of positivity? Let's see. But as always, I'm going to bring it to a close there. Please like, please share, and also don't forget to subscribe because it's really important to new channels such as this. Please join the community. It's a growing community and I want to hear your voice. It's all about the fans. So as always, thank you for watching Dan Talks United. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.